Yeah, what do we say?
Thanks for riding.
No. Intamin is a sin. B&M is a gem. So, you brought an interesting idea to me that I liked as soon as I heard it. The question of, is there a such thing as theming that's just too good for itself?
Yeah, where the theming is done to such an extent that it starts to possess negative qualities. It starts to give you sort of a negative feel. Is that possible? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it definitely is possible. And I think there's definitely a number of cases out there today like that.
Yeah. So you want to start with the biggest one? The classic example that we think of?
Between us,
Yeah.
our classic.
Yeah.
Our list of classics. The first thing that comes to my mind is Animal Kingdom. And really the park as a whole, and we can go into specifics here, but I think the park as a whole, I think it's actually themed too well, where it becomes kind of depressing. It's kind of down and dirty when push comes to shove.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little dirty, a little grimy.
Feel dirty? You feel like you got to take a shower after you come out of that park.
A little bit.
Yeah,
I always think of whenever my memories of Animal Kingdom, I always think it's overcast or raining there. So I feel a little gross just thinking about it, my memories of it.
Well, it always is.
I think it's just, I don't know what it is. They always have a cloud over that place for some reason.
Sun never shines in Animal Kingdom.
Right.
Well, I mean, the entrance is fine. It's just wooded area, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that whole center island, I think it's called Discovery Island, right? They took that name to use for the center hub island. But as soon as you get into Africa and Asia, it's just a mess. And I mean, what it's not bad. I mean, it is definitely the Disney quality that we've come to expect. It is done really, really well, but again, too well, to where it's actually dumpy, because it's all rundown buildings with areas where the brick is exposed through the attempt at some kind of facade. It's power lines just strewn all over the place, and it's just not nice to look at.
They took the most run-down areas of Africa and Asia and used that as the theme instead of using
instead of the big cities, the big global cities.
For whatever reason, they
decided they were trying to go. I
yeah.
think for this is where you'd actually go if you were going to go on a safari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you have to report to one of these out of the way, kind of crumbling, depressed areas of those continents, but it doesn't make for good theme park theming, really. At least when it's done like that.
Yeah, and it's not that I only want pretty buildings and immaculate landscaping and architecture and construction in my theme parks and my theming.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give you an example right now.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
Indiana Jones in Disneyland.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. It's run down, but there's still a nice quality to it. It's probably not all that realistic. It's kind of comic booky, cartoony. It's kind of a fantasy version of a decrepit temple.
Yeah.
But I think that's in the end, that's what you kind of feel better coming across during your day at a theme park.
Right, exactly. You want that fantasy. You don't really want reality.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to escape.
Sometimes too much reality is not a good thing.
Yeah, so then when they give that to you, when they immerse you in what it really is like to be in some village in the outskirts in some African town or some Asian town, it is a little depressing, and we're just seeing all this shit that's just strewn everywhere, and I don't know, it's just too much. It's just too much.
It's too much. Too much grime.
Yeah.
Too much grit. Dirt. Yeah. Too much is really the key phrase there.
Like, they could have not stuck some telephone poles with wires, a million wires wrapped around them and going all different directions. They could have left that out, but they put that in there, and it's an amazing attention to detail. But it's something I would actually prefer not to see.
Yeah, it's detailed to the point where it becomes a detriment to the overall experience.
And they took it to a new level with Chester and Hester's Dinorama.
Okay, so that's the other major area of the park that's separate from the Africa and Asia and all that good stuff.
Yeah. In Dinoland, USA.
Yeah, it's just a silly concept, I think, to begin with. But yeah, what they did was they were theming to a cheap, cheesy traveling carnival, pretty much,
yeah.
right? It's just supposed to be a local, not even a really not the state fair even, or something that's a bit better. Just your local, like, church parking lot kind of carnival thing.
Yeah.
And again, I think they did it too well, where they actually made the whole land. I mean, if you pay attention and look down, it's cracked asphalt with the parking lines.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The stripes there. The fact that they actually went for the crack, though, they made it's cracked and it's an older parking lot. It's been there a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the buildings in that area are not really true to that theme because they're kind of permanent and colorful.
Yeah, it's just the Chester and Hester area.
Yeah, it's just right out by the mouse coasters and the Triceratops spin.
Yeah. Do they have some lane games there, too?
They do have games. They do have games there.
Yeah, they went for it, because they're not in any other Disney park, right?
Just your standard games. Well, California Adventure
Oh, okay.
has them.
Yeah, they did it there. All right.
So the newest parks do.
Yeah.
They started, in the late 90s they started.
But it's just, it's kind of ridiculous that they went that far with that concept. Because like you said, it's a silly concept to begin with, that you're going to, the theme of a not top of the line carnival, you're going to put that into your top of the line amusement park. That's strange. It's really strange.
Yeah, you really are painting yourself into a corner there because you really can't win.
Yeah.
On that one.
Of course not.
Because either you don't pull the theme off because you just make it look typical Disney nice, but then it doesn't stay true to the theme, or like they did it, they pulled it off, but it looks like crap.
Yeah. I really feel like I'm in a parking lot when I'm there.
Yeah, they really did it. But it's kind of, I don't know if it's a good idea. In fact, I don't think it's a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I wonder how many people even get it. Every time I'm there, I wonder, because the truth is, in many of your Six Flags parks and even your smaller independent regional parks, it's not a parking lot, but it's just asphalt that was poured years ago, and there's a lot of cracks in it, and it's not all even anymore, and it's faded, and it's kind of whitewashed in areas, and that's just what you're used to. I'm in an amusement park, but that's what I'm walking on. That's the general look of the place and feel of the place, and I wonder if people really even get that this was something Disney went for purposely, or they just for a minute you just think like, oh, I just feel like I'm walking in my local Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just what I'm used to. I guess this area just hasn't been redone in a while, or something, and they just assume that and don't even really give it a second thought.
Yeah.
That's why I'm walking, on this cracked pavement, and things look a little run down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incredible that they managed to figure out how to do that, how to put something in that's new but make it look like it's 20 years old. It is amazing, but amazing as it might be. It is. There's a parking arrow. They have the arrows. It's amazing.
Look at that.
Again, amazing, but theme that's too good for itself.
And they put a sewer manhole cover.
Oh, they did the manhole covers.
So Animal Kingdom as a whole, they took it a little too far, in our opinion.
They themed it too well.
It's just too close to reality.
I guess it would have been better served to be a little bit more of a fantasy.
Yeah, like you're saying, like with how they did Indiana Jones at Disneyland.
Yeah, it should have been something more along the lines of a fantasy. Asia, Africa, Golden Kingdom.
Oh, that that's
our very own Great Adventure. I think
Yeah.
that was a hit the spot.
Yeah, it did actually. That's funny.
It seemed authentic enough, but it was nice. It didn't go too far.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
become depressing and grimy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Because, it is like an Animal Kingdom light.
Yeah.
There is some crap, some sort of crumbling buildings, but it's definitely not to the extent that they took it to in Animal Kingdom.
So as a segue, now that I mentioned Great Adventure, something that comes to mind for me is Batman the Ride. No longer is it like this, but the original concept of the queue, the part where you went through the junkyard. This is that Great Adventure. To be honest, I really don't have as good a handle on. I've been on almost every other Batman the Ride around the country, but I don't have a handle on the queues. So Great Adventure was the one I saw since the beginning all the way through to today. And so anyway, I know they used to have the whole Gotham City junkyard where they literally had just junk. They just found an old toilet bowl and
Yeah.
an old tube TV and just stuff like that. It was just actual rusty junk. And to me that was kind of gross. It was too good. It was themed too well. They went too far.
I didn't mind that so much. But I know what you mean. I just wish that they hadn't gotten rid of everything, because they removed the cop car that was smashed into the fire hydrant.
Yeah, well, they went and they cleaned the junkyard out, but then they also took actual other themed elements out.
Yeah.
Which was a mistake.
So that was kind of too bad that they went that far with the cleanup. But yeah, they definitely had. You couldn't see the ground at all. It was all junk. Every square inch was covered in junk.
Yeah, it's just off. It was when you entered into the inner part of the queue after the Gotham City Park. It was to the left.
Yeah.
It was this huge. It was this pretty large area to the left, behind chain link fences, with the fake barbed wire on top, and then it was just totally covered with junk, an actual junkyard.
Well, another example that comes to mind, and I know this is a weird one, at Marineland in Niagara Falls in Canada, they have an arrow looper there called Dragon Mountain, and the queue for that is, or part of the queue is a cave. You enter, I guess you're supposed to be entering into the dragon's lair or something.
Oh, the
like
Dragon
that.
Mountain, yeah. So we
the
enter into
mountain,
the
yeah.
mountain.
And so they themed that cave, that mountain, all the way around. The ceiling, the walls, the entire thing was, they did fake rock work. And they did it a little too good because I think they forgot to put lights in, and you can't really see in there. It's hard to navigate the queue.
It was very dark. well, it was a sunny day. We were there. You came out of the sun, and then it took forever for your eyes to adjust.
Yeah.
I don't really recall. There was just a few lights when you got to the actual station.
Yeah,
they left a few holes in the ceiling where they just had some floodlights. But yeah, it really was. It was almost too dimly lit, and you really kind of felt like you were going into a real cave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just the queue though.
Yeah, just the queue.
You gotta be careful on that one.
No, the rest of the ride.
You mentioned it. I wasn't sure where you were going.
Completely unthemed.
Yeah, because the rest of the ride should have been themed.
Yeah.
It was meant to be, and it never was.
Yeah.
So there's a whole other thing going on over there, but
so it's like too much theming and definitely not enough on the same ride.
Yeah, just that walk though through the initial queue. Yeah, it was kind of strange.
Yeah. Here's another one for you. The land at Epcot. When they redid the land in 2005, I think it was 2004, 2005, somewhere in there.
Sure, I'll give it to you.
When they added Soarin', they rethemed the land, the whole bottom area where they had all the food court. And when they redid it, they it seems that they went for a airport kind of theme with Soarin'.
I think based on Soarin', they were going to try to give everything an airport theme.
And they went too far. It feels too much like an actual airport, where you don't feel like you're in a nice theme park, a Disney theme park. It's just, I don't know, you feel like you could be anywhere, in any airport.
Yeah, that one got to you, huh?
Yeah. I loved it the way it was before, where each food stall had its own little area, its own little facade.
Yeah, it was warmer, more inviting.
I had so much charm
before. Yeah, charming even. It's a bit cold now.
Yeah, it's all just one big stainless steel.
Stainless steel? I remember a lot of
crap.
white. That's what I remember. Yeah, it's done really. Again, it's done really well to the point that it may be too well. You really feel like you're in an airport. You feel like the vacation's over. You're getting ready to fly out. I get it's like, oh, it's over already. Oh well, that was quick. You know, you're in the airport now already, catching your last not so great meal. Yeah, we're looking at a picture now. It's hard to see, but
it's a lot of white stainless steel, and it looks just like an airport.
Yeah, and then it extends into the queue for Soarin'. Yeah, it's too much. Yeah,
it's so bland. They took all the personality out of that.
It really is. I mean, it's maybe a nice mall food court at best. But even that, I don't know that I really want to be reminded of my local mall.
No, not when I'm going to a Disney theme park.
I paid $100 to get into Epcot, and it's a little jarring. I'm not thrilled with it myself. And I know this one brought up an interesting point that I heard you mention before about if anyone were to question the idea that, could you go too far with a theme?
Oh, because I know that some of you out there are thinking, no, you can't go too far with a theme. You want to get the most theme possible. You want to be totally immersed. Take it as far as you can. But imagine if with Soarin', where it's themed to an airport flight, what if before you got into the queue, or just at some point before you got into the ride, you had to go through a security checkpoint, and they made you take off your shoes and your belt, and you had to go through a metal detector and a scanner and all this stuff, like at a real airport. That would be taking the theme way too far. So I think it is possible.
Yeah, you're right. If they really wanted to go all the way with the idea that you're getting on some kind of flight, yeah, why not? Right? You're trying to totally immerse everybody. Let's make it real.
Yeah, like you're really at an airport. Strip down.
Full bend over.
Yeah.
Full anal probe. Full cavity search for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, that would, like, if you go back to Animal Kingdom, that would be, you actually get robbed. You get mugged. 'Cause that's probably what would happen.
Disney pays people to mug you.
Yeah, I mean, well dressed, with a lot of cash on you, American tourists.
Mm-hmm.
in some of the more rundown corners of Asia or Africa, yeah, you think you're not gonna possibly run across some of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a criminal element that's going to try to. At the very least, they would have the beggars asking you for money.
Homeless people out there.
Yeah, at the very least, the kids that would come up and try to pull at your heartstrings and get some cash out of you.
Yeah.
At the very least, or they'll just go to the point of actually having someone take you around the corner and stick you up at gunpoint and mug you but that's real.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go to the point of the ugly telephone poles with just loose wires hanging off and some kind of danger symbol, with a lightning bolt, electric danger or electricity,
Mm-hmm.
you might get electrocuted if you touch these wires. Why not go that last step?
Yeah.
So yeah, they still do stop even in these examples. They still stop at some point.
Yeah. How about well, I think Transformers is actually a little too well themed, but in sort of a different sense. I think they stuck too close to the source material, so it's themed too well in that sense, where it's too much like the movies. I know we've brought this up already.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, and not having seen the movies, I don't know.
But oh, come on, I've seen clips here and there.
Not from the trailer,
and
looks horrible.
Mm-hmm. And I wish they hadn't worked with Michael Bay. I wish they'd taken more liberty with the project.
Well, it's like they should have just went with the Transformers cartoon show from the 80s and made the ride based on that.
That probably would have been better.
Which, I mean, when you think about it, that's what they did with Spider-Man. That's based on the Spider-Man animated series that was on Fox back in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, right.
It's not. There's a few changes with that too. The look of the look of the characters is definitely from that. A couple of the voices are a little different, but that's themed to the cartoon, not to anything else. I possibly the only reason for that though is because the movies didn't come out yet.
They didn't, but they could have went with the '70s Spider-Man TV series, but they didn't. So there were other options.
So they went with the animated version, which works better for that style attraction.
Yeah, the Transformers thing.
They were able to get much more comedy into it.
Yeah,
and it's a really great balance of action and drama and intensity, but also the lighthearted side of it. It really worked great. And if they had tried to use the Sam Raimi series live actors and some of those stories, it wouldn't have worked as well. Probably.
Yeah, well, it's gonna date it, I think, a lot more quickly than the animated series.
Yeah, that's true too. So with Transformers, they didn't use any of the live actors from the movies. They didn't use LaDouche at all. Or was it Megan Fox was in that? Before they kicked her out.
Well, they got the guy who did the voices for the robots, but but none of the actors you actually see on screen, I don't think were in that.
Yeah, but so maybe that I kind of said it as a joke, but that might have been a better suggestion. Like, yeah, go for the '80s cartoon series.
Well, I think so.
It would have been better.
Yeah. Well,
you could have had more fun with it.
Well, yeah, you mentioned humor, and I don't remember there being any in the Transformers ride.
No, it was really just.
It's really dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all just no smash. I'll get you, and something happens fast, and I don't know. I can't tell what's going on in that ride.
Yeah.
You're inside a robot at one point, and he shits you out. I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, I think it would have been better to go with the animated series. It would have been more timeless. It would have been more fun. A little bit more flexible. It's themed too well. They stuck too close to it. It was too close to the source material. They followed it to the T.
Yeah, the source material being the Michael Bay movies,
right? Which
they're just too serious and just annoying and loud and stupid and mindless.
Yeah,
And yeah,
It's like the ride.
there's not
That's the
enough
problem.
of a range of emotions. It's all just the same level of action,
Right. The
action,
ride.
more action.
Yeah, the ride is very sort of monotone. It's very flat.
Yeah.
There's right. You don't go through any sort of arc at all during
not
the
at
ride.
all.
You got something else though?
Yeah, I was. We're going through these, and now it was making me think about Harry Potter, Wizarding World.
Okay.
Is that possibly too good for its own good? Now, it's a fantasy
I don't know
place
about
to
that.
begin with,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not necessarily a look. I guess just trying to mimic it from the movie sets
Mm-hmm.
and the movie CGI at certain parts where there may not have been physical sets is, I guess, what they really had to go on.
Mm.
All I know is, though, when standing in the middle of that Hogsmeade, it was just such a colorless. There really wasn't anything all that interesting
Oh.
to grab your eye.
Okay.
It's just all charcoal gray and really drab and droomy and gloomy and all that stuff.
I know we said that when we were there. We noticed that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that really qualifies as a theme too well. I don't know what you want to. It's just maybe they're just bad choices. That they should have made it a little bit more colorful and
Yeah, I guess that
fun.
it just sticks again like Transformers. It sticks too closely to the source material.
It just sticks out of my mind as just something
Um,
that is not. I'm not looking forward to going back per se to walk through that area. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh, this area again.
it
It's
was
just gonna
kinda
be So
depressing.
drab. Yeah, it's just.
It really was.
It's just not fun.
Yeah, comparing that to what was there before, which was really fun. The Lost Continent.
It's almost the other. It's the complete other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, where there was a lot to look at and a bunch of different things going on, different textures and
Yeah, crazy shit. Like a giant tree with a face.
yeah, and a giant red and blue dragon facing off against each other at the entrance.
Yeah, dragon. Was it a sculpture? Was it real dragons
Yeah.
frozen in time, or it's like dragon taxidermy or something? I don't know what they were going for. It was great. It was awesome.
yeah. And then you go to the Harry Potter thing, the Hogsmeade, and yeah, it's just all gray, black, brick and stone everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's it, pretty much. A little
Yeah.
snow on the roofs, and that's about it.
They went so far as to just put a full wall in front of Dueling Dragons, and then change
Yeah.
the name to Dragon Challenge. So you can hardly even get any view of that ride.
Yeah.
They walled it out. It's awful.
Yeah, I think that's the case. It's funny with that land too, how if you're in the Jurassic Park island, and you're walking towards the Harry Potter land, you can see where they stopped the theming on the Forbidden Journey warehouse building.
Well, you can. Yeah, there's like some exposed building.
There's
warehouse
just exposed
in the
warehouse.
back.
So it's kind of funny how they didn't take it all the way with that. But but they just I guess J.K. Rowling, I mean, she had final say over everything, I think. She had creative control.
Supposedly, that's the story. Yeah.
So this is her vision, this is her dream. Is that land. Is a colorless, textureless land.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
She got it done.
You got anything
I'm
else?
trying to think. Yeah, let's make sure there's nothing else.
Yeah, because I don't think
It's tough because
there are not a lot of instances.
Yeah, there's not going to really be anything
And
in
it's
the regional parks. It's just
right. You're only
except Batman the Ride. We get to get that.
yeah.
in.
You're only talking about Disney and Universal, pretty much.
I don't know. Thanks for riding.
Hey guys, we'd love to know what you think. Post a comment or question on thanksforriding.tumblr.com, or you can email us at thanksforriding@yahoo.com. We're on Facebook too.
Facebook? Is that the one where you tweet?